Welcome, race fans, once again to MaxSpeedTV. Tonight we are bringing you the After Hours race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Personally, one of my favorite tracks, as it is my home track. Going to see some great racing here. 19 drivers have currently taken to the track here to put in times, and we'll probably see one or two more trickle in throughout the night. This is a very tough track to tame here, as we've already seen a lot of drivers getting into the outside wall in turn 2 and turn 4. This little triangle here is a very tricky spot here. Hopefully everybody will maintain a good run here, but we're in practice for another 19 minutes. So without further ado, let's get to all the pre-race stuff here. Of course, we want to thank all the sponsors that come on board here, whether you're on the MaxSpeedTV side of things or on the Northwest Xfinity series side of things. Of course, SimSpeedShop.com. Big shout out to them for coming on board here tonight, or tonight and in the past and in the future. If you're looking to up your game just a little bit or a lot, definitely check them out. They've got some great button boxes as well as some new e-brakes going on for all you rallycross racers out there. Home net hosting and PC repair just coming on board not too long ago, so make sure you check them out for all your web hosting needs and PC repair. Elite 7 Racing, they have been here a very long time. They are the official team of MaxSpeedTV, so make sure you check them out on their Facebook page. Give them a thumbs up, let them know you heard about it here on MaxSpeedTV. And of course, Ohio IndyCar League, they came on for a sponsorship, but shortly after we did pick them up as a league to broadcast as well. So you can check them out starting next month here in April, I do believe, which is really not that far off. We will be covering that. Josh Medlock here at MaxSpeedTV will be covering that series on the racing side of things. As you can see, this is the Northwest Xfinity Series presented by Highway Equipment Company. They have two divisions. One of those is Highway, of course, and the other is New Leader. Both very good divisions of that company. Make sure you check them out at highwayequipmentcompany.com. We just had a truck race that was actually sponsored by them. Again, that was the XT3 200, one of their dump beds. So that was a very awesome looking dump bed. We did go check it out on their website. Very universal. You can do lots of things with it. So make sure you check them out. Again, highwayequipmentcompany.com. But again, this is the Northwest Xfinity Series here on MaxSpeedTV. As always, I'm your host, Charles, and KR will be here a little bit later as he finishes up his race that he is doing right now. So without further ado, we do want to kind of go through the pre-race analysts here. Again, we're expecting to see some really good racing here. Just have to do some minor update here. We did get a closer account on tires and fuel from previously estimated. We were talking to the drivers here. So we want to make sure we update those for you here. But you're a pre-race analyst here. 78 degrees, 104 degrees here on the track. That track is extremely hot. It is going to be a very, very slick track. As we already kind of expected here. We would not expect anything less. 100 laps, 150 miles is what they have to run here. We did the math, and then we recalculated the math after talking to these drivers here. 10 to 15 laps on tires. That is all they're going to get here. That is not a lot of laps, and we will see some drastic tire wear and at times fall off after about 5 or 6 laps. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on those tires to see if anybody does spin out here today. Fuel window, though, 32 to 37 laps. If they want to try to stretch it just a little bit, they could go towards that 37. Again, that was up from about 35 to 37 based off of the tire wear. These tires get a little bit worn, and then they could possibly have to or be able to run a few extra laps at the slower speeds. 50 mile an hour on pit road So again, that was your Max Speed TV race analyst here in the pre-race show. That is all what we expect to see here tonight. And as always, I expect to see a good race with these guys here. We're in the pre-race show at the moment. So let us know in chat who you are rooting for here tonight. We've got about 14 and a half minutes left to go. Why not? Let's go ahead real fast while we have a moment. And let's run through the point standings. Chris White is your points leader right now with a total of 265 points. Behind him is Case Hinkins, and I don't know if he is here tonight. We'll take a look. I actually do not see him here with us, so that could be a devastating blow to his second place points. Jeff Stabnow, however, is in third place in points, and he is here fastest in the charts right now with a 30.590. To round out your top five, it'll be Gary Nichols and Carl Burke in fifth place. Sixth place will go to David Applegate. Seventh place, Matt Henry. Eighth place is Brian Barnes. Ninth place, Brad Cornell. In 10th place, Brett Johnson. So that is your top 10 here in points, and expect a lot of these guys to be here. I was always expect them to be here, and we'll switch here. We're going to switch to our playoff ticker real fast, and you can see who has a race win here tonight. As you can see right there, Chris White has a win. Scott Mann has a win. So a lot of guys having wins here in the series. Before it does rotate over there, we'll let you know also Gary Nichols has a win, and Josh Cushman does have a win, but he is not going to be here tonight. So several drivers here with wins tonight. It's going to be very interesting, I think, to see who comes out with the win, as there are a lot of very fast drivers in this league. So anybody could come away with the win here, but we're going to step away here, and we're going to look at getting a driver in here for a quick interview. So give us just a moment, and we will be right back with a quick interview with one of these drivers. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, and we do have Jeff Stabnow. We just talked about him, fastest in the charts here in practice right now with a 30.590. But again, that obviously probably a little bit of a qualifying time. We'll see how those times wear off. But we just also talked about him being third in points. We'll get Chris White in here, who is leading the points. But Case Hinkins is not here tonight. He is second in points. So we couldn't get him in here, but that leaves you sitting 9 points out of second. So most likely, unless some drastic something happens, you're going to take second place tonight. And if you do, then you're going to have your eyes set on Chris White, trying to run him down. So what are your thoughts going into the race, knowing you could get second place in points, and then you're going to be in the hunt to try to get that championship?
First of all, I kind of hope I do hope Chris Hinkins is able to make it. Not sure, we haven't heard from him, so but I kind of enjoy the battle. As far as the chase, it really doesn't matter right now. It all resets when we get to the chase, or as far as the points go. We're pretty much going to reset them minus a couple win bonuses at the chase, so it's just get some good finishes and be one of those top 8 that gets in the chase. Put yourself in position to get to that championship round.
Well, once the chase gets here, that is going to be a awesome time. We've spent a lot of time here at MaxSpeedTV, obviously, working with y'all, getting this everything in here. We come in here for practices and all that, and we do have all of the overlays here set up for that chase now. So that is going to be an awesome time here with the Northwest Xfinity and Northwest Truck Series. But I believe you're actually either first or second in the points in the trucks too, so to be in the top 3 in both series here, again, we like to harass you a little bit. You know, you always talk about how you don't win, but you did win just last race. So you won that race. You're sitting in the top 3 in both point standings. So what is that like to know that you are doing that good in both series, not just in this one?
Well, you know, we've made a pretty big leap this year, running so much better this year than we were last year, and a lot of the credit goes to my teammates. I think, you know, John, Sean, and Mark, just running with them, doing practice laps with them, building sets with them, it's hard not to get better. So I'm pretty excited about being in the top 3 in points in both series. One's a fixed, one's an open setup, so we're just trying to ride it out and not make any big mistakes.
Well, and we were talking to you earlier before we went live down in the pits. You were talking about your 1.5 mile game. Maybe it's been stepped up just a little bit. So that being said, you're coming into Texas. You know, personally, my favorite track. It is obviously my home state. But you know, if that has improved here going into the 1.5 mile, in your opinion, what do you think your shots are here? Of getting a top 3 or a win?
Well, yeah, you know, when I say my 1.5 mile game's improved, typically our 1.5 miles, so we get some pretty long green flag runs. And the one thing that I've been trying to work on here is just getting a little bit more out of my tires in those later laps. So that's what we seem to have improved on, or at least we looked pretty good there last week at Kentucky. But as far as this track, man, chances of getting a win, you got Brian Barnes in here, who's just always fast. You got Chris White, who's won 3 or 4 races now in this series. And then Mark, who hasn't won in this series here, but he's pretty much dominated this truck, Mark Walls, of this track in the truck. So he's real good at this track, too. It's definitely going to be a tough one. I think just finishing top 5 would be an accomplishment here tonight.
Oh, it definitely would be indeed. We're going to kind of mix things up here in a minute. We're going to see if we can get Chris White in here with. It's going to have a dual interview. We'll see. Chris White, you got a copy?
Yeah, Charles, go ahead.
Well, we got you and Jeff in here running first and third. Again, we talked about hopefully Case Hinkins will be here. But get your thoughts on it. You got Jeff Stabnow kind of nipping at your heels. He's 39 points out of first. Will be probably less than that coming out of tonight's race. We'll see how it all works out. But you're leading this championship right now. Again, we talked about the playoffs just a second ago, how that really kind of mixes everything up, everything get reset. But knowing that you're in the points, going to the playoffs, and possibly keeping the lead going into the off week here, does it kind of give you a little bit of a sigh of relief knowing that you're the points leader going into the break?
Yeah, certainly. It's good to be out front leading the points. However, like you said, the points reset when the playoffs start, so it's all about consistency. You know, just trying to run your laps, stay out of trouble, and get the good finishes. Try to finish as best you can, and just carry on to the next race.
Well, consistency is key. We're looking at you here currently third fastest right now here in practice. Get your thoughts. First off, we did talk to Jeff about it. Your thoughts on Texas, and then your thoughts on possibly getting the win here at Texas.
Well, so far the car's running pretty decent. We are up in the top 5, it looks like, in the practice charts. I'm not sure what the long run's gonna entail here. Tires are a big issue here. They seem to be burning off real quick after about 10-15 laps. So I think tires are going to be an issue. Cautions, we might see a few cautions. Hopefully it goes green. I'd like to see a green flag run here, but keep our fingers crossed, I guess.
Well, and we always try to keep track of the events on pit road. But we'll actually start with Chris, and then we'll go ask you, Jeff, as well. What are your thoughts on pit road? These tires are going to be really worn out. How careful are you going to have to be on pit road to not slide through your pit stall with these really worn out tires if we get a long green flag run?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say one word: careful. Just be careful. That transition coming off the banking, coming off that track at a high speed and trying to transition on the pit road, odds are you could see some guys overdo it and spin out. Might see some issues.
Well, it definitely might. And Jeff, we'll get your thoughts on it real fast.
Well, just, exactly what Chris said there, but then to even expand on that a little bit, I did a couple of green flag pit stops after about 15 laps on these tires, and the tires are hot. And I came in and hit the normal brake spot and just slid right through the pit box on the first one. So I think you're going to have to creep into your pit box a little bit if you've been running hard and you got those tires hot, so you might not, I think we're going to catch some guys off guard.
Well, there they have their fair warning now if they're paying attention watching the stream, which I kind of hope they're not watching it right now. If they're out on the track, that's probably not the best idea. But when they watch it later, hopefully they will agree, yes, I didn't make that mistake. Otherwise, it could cost them a win, potentially, or even a top 5 finish if it's towards the end of the race. But starting with Jeff this time, any quick shout-outs or sponsors you want to give for getting you here to Texas Motor Speedway tonight?
Well, we got New Leader on board with the race tonight and on the car. So big shout-out to New Leader. It'd be real nice to get a podium finish here with this New Leader Silverado, or New Leader Camaro Silverados Thursdays. And then shout out to the teammates and everybody else. SimStar Motorsports is on board as a secondary sponsor. Lots of guys to thank, and I hope to have more time to do it after the race.
All right, we'll be looking for your Grammy speech, as KR likes to call it. He'll be here shortly. But Chris, anyone you want to thank?
I'll just second Jeff there. Series sponsors: Sanctuary Studios, Highway, New Leader, SimStar Motorsports, Waltz Beard Co. Got to appreciate what they do for the series, and hopefully we'll talk to you in Victory Lane, Charles.
All right. Well, again, we are just about ready to wrap it up here. We have about 2.5 minutes. We're going to step away one last time here before we get ready for the actual qualifying, and then we'll get into the race. So, again, we'll be back here in 2.5 minutes. Here in about 45 seconds or so, we will go ahead and get to the National Anthem. So right after the National Anthem, we'll be back with qualifying.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back here. Green flag just being thrown. 10 minutes for qualifying is what they have. And so far, it looks like a new guy here we have not seen before, as we're going to switch down to main camera here. That is James Dalziel. Hopefully that is a correct pronunciation for that. Looks like James Dalziel is correct, though. Let's put up your qualifying times down the right side of the screen. Again, nobody has put in times, obviously, just yet. But we are watching the two of James Dalziel out on the track right now. Corey Walters out on the track right now. Gary Nichols and Scott Mann also out on the track. William Fletcher going to be coming out as well. So a lot of drivers out on the track right now, and nobody officially putting in a time right there. James Dalziel will put in his first warm-up lap. So this time by, he will be the first one to put in an official lap. So we'll see. Obviously, he'll be first, at least for a split second. So we'll see where he shakes up here once qualifying is over. And William Fletcher out on the track. Andy Vogt coming out onto the track now, too. So we'll follow all these guys as best we can here. Again, looks like the two-car does not have a paint job, but he will put in a time here, and it will be a 30.842 to put him at the top of the charts again for just a minute. We'll check in with William Fletcher, who should be putting in a time this time by, as he is coming out of turn 4 here at Texas Motor Speedway, and right there he will put in a time, and it's going to be a 30.908 to put him in second place. Corey Walters out on the track just put in a time as well, and is going to put him at the top with a 30.722. What a time for Corey Walters. William Fletcher in third right now. Andy Vogt out on the track. We'll see where he stacks up against the rest of the field here, as he is on the backstretch right now. Has not officially put in a time, but he will be doing so very shortly. And right there you see him getting into the corners. And he is coming out of turn 4 now. We'll see where he stacks up, getting a little loose there, but he will hang on to it. And he is going to put in a time of a 30.629 to put himself at the very top of the charts. Carl Burke put in a 5th place time with a 31.020. Matt Henry currently in 6th with a 31.067. Trent Alley in 7th with a 31.201. And Mike Peterson currently in 8th with a 31.386. Dana Rogers just put in a 9th fastest time with a 31.859. But again, your top driver right there is Andy Vogt at the moment in the number 10 car at the top of the charts with a 30.629. He is your fastest qualifier so far here with about 6.5 minutes left to go. Mark Walls is out on the track, and he's going to put in a time right there. We'll see what kind of time it's going to be. If that wasn't his warm-up lap, it is indeed going to be his warm-up lap. So he still has 3 more laps, I believe. We'll get 3 laps total for qualifying. He is on lap number 1, and that car is flying right now here around Texas Motor Speedway. And that new leader, Chevrolet Camaro here tonight. So a very fantastic run, probably about to put in. We'll see if he takes it to the top of the charts. And he'll take it to 3rd with a 30.766.138 behind Andy Vogt. So we'll see. There's a few drivers that have not gone in. Jeff Stabnow just jumps up to 7th with a 30.938. So he's going to put his new leader, a Chevrolet Camaro, up to 7th place right now. So we'll check in right now. Brad Cornell currently in 11th with a 31.250. So some good times coming in. We'll check in here. Brett Johnson pulling out of pit road right now. He is one of the cars. He's the only car out on the track right now that is not put in a time in that number 7 machine. Drivers that have not even gone onto the track yet include Scott Hutchinson, Chris White, Gerald Heffley, Mona Lehman, Scott Mann, Frank Harris, and Brian Barnes. These drivers will be making it on to the track here shortly, I'm sure. Otherwise, they will opt to stay at the back of the field here tonight. So we'll see, at least start at the back. They may not stay back there for very long. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in here on MaxSpeedTV. Again, this is what we like to call the After Hours broadcast here. It is almost 11 o'clock Central. Oh, as Brett Johnson's going to get into the inside and outside wall. Oh, that run is done. So, unfortunate for him, Scott Mann is out on the track, so we'll check in with him. He does have a race win this season. So again, unfortunate for Brett Johnson getting into the wall. They still have 4.5 minutes to put in the time, so he has plenty of time to put in a good lap here. Again, we have about 4.5 minutes to go. Scott Mann out on the track. Brett Johnson is coming back out onto the track again. Brian Barnes sitting at the end of pit road, as well as Chris White. But right there you see Scott Mann is going to fly around this track. His warm-up lap is over, so this time he will put in a lap, and we'll see where he stacks up against the rest of this field. Again, he does have a race win in the series. We know he's fast, and I expect to see him in the top 10, if not the top 5, once he puts in a time here in about half a lap. Alright, we'll see 30.748. He is third fastest, just outdoing Jeff Stabnow, who put it to fourth with a 30.765. So 0.017 separating Scott Mann and Jeff Stabnow, as he's going to keep driving around this track, and it looks like he is going to shut it down. He is not going to keep going. Got into the wall there on his second lap, so that lap won't count anyway. Chris White, you see sitting at the end of pit road, as well as Brian Barnes. So Chris White has pulled off a little bit, as there he is going to fire it up, and he is going to go out onto the track in that SimStar Motorsports car, and he is going to put in a good time. I'm sure. We know he's fast. He also has a race win this season. Again, you will have that notified once we go to playoffs, though. You see that green bar above his name? That indicates he has a race win. Once we go to playoffs, that will change to playoffs, and it will say playoffs if they are in the playoff contention. If they have a win in the playoffs, it will be there. So keep in mind, keep an eye on that. Is all that will be changing once we get into playoffs. But again, we are off this Thursday and Monday for this series. So we are going to be slim pickings here at MaxSpeedTV, as a lot of people taking off for Easter, and so that being said, we just won't have many broadcasts. But make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button and the like button and get notified of all the races we have coming up. But again, we're going to be a little slow here over the holidays. Obviously, people are going to be celebrating with their families. So we'll see here. Chris White's going to take it to 10th place with a 30.959. So another very solid time for him tonight. It looks like Brian Barnes is not going to come out. He is sitting at the end of pit road, and he needs to come out fairly soon if he's going to, as he only has a minute 40 left here in qualifying. So we'll see. It looks like Chris White is going to shut it down. He is only at 150, so he is shutting it down, and he's going to call it a good run to put him in 6th place right now, and that is a very good run indeed. You're going to check in with Brian Barnes, who is not going to come out. It doesn't look like he has a minute 10 to do it, and I don't think he's going to come out, so he is going to opt to stay here at the back, or maybe got sidetracked or something. But he is not going to be coming out here to qualify with 57 seconds left. It's going to take at least 30 to get around this track for a warm-up, and another 30 to get around. So he does not have time now to complete his warm-up and a lap. So that will do it for qualifying. It looks like Scott Hutchinson, Gerald Heffley, Mona Lehman, Frank Harris, and Brian Barnes are not going to qualify, but Andy Vogt will take it to the top of the charts there in qualifying. Again, that will do it for qualifying. 19 seconds left on the chart. That will wind down here in just a moment. Again, we're going to be back here in just about 10 seconds, and we will go through your Walls Beardco starting grid. All right, we are back here once again. That did not take long at all, as we did not figure it would. Again, your Walls Beardco starting grid coming up now. Starting on pole with a blistering fast time, 30.629, the only 30.6 time here tonight. That is Andy Vogt on pole. Out is outside is going to be Corey Walters in the number 9 machine. Row 2 is going to be Scott Mann. Again, does have a race win this season. And Jeff Stabnow starting in 4th place. Row 3 is going to be Mark Walls and Chris White, another driver who does have a race win here tonight. Or this season, sorry about tonight. James Dalziel, again, hopefully that is right, starting in 7th and 8th place on row 4 is going to be the number 8 of Gary Nichols, another driver with a win this season. Row 5 is going to be the number 7 of Brett Johnson, and on his outside in 10th is going to be William Fletcher in the number 28. Row 6 is going to be Carl Burke and Matt Henry, 2 Chevrolets starting on row 6. Row 7 is going to mix it up with a Chevrolet number 85 Trent Alley and the Ford number 18 of Brad Cornell. Row 8 is going to be Mike Peterson and the 07 of Dana Rogers in 16th. Row 9 is going to be Brian Barnes and Scott Hutchinson. Again, starting on row 9. Row 10, David Applegate just snuck in here at the last minute. And 19th and 20th will go to Gerald Heffley. Row 11 is going to be Mona Lehman and Frank Harris. Again, another mix-up of a Chevrolet and a Ford on row 11. Row 12, there is no row 12 here tonight, so 11 rows of very fast drivers. This is going to be a fantastic night of racing. Again, Texas Motor Speedway, we're going green in 1 lap. Anything could happen at Texas, and anything probably will happen at Texas. We've already established here early 10 to 15 laps on tires. These guys are going to be screaming for new tires. If we get a caution, they're probably going to come down even before then. 32 to 37 laps on fuel. So if we go green here, we will be see cars pitting anywhere between lap 32 and 37. That is the fuel window here for these cars. So it's going to be very interesting to see which one of them comes in to play the most. Is it going to be fuel or is it going to be tires? Time will tell, as we're just about ready to get the green flag for the first time here at Texas Motor Speedway in the Northwest Xfinity Series. All right, you see it there. There it is. Green flag is out for the first time here at Texas Motor Speedway. We are underway. Andy Vogt on the lapel very quickly here as he's going to lead them to the start, and they're all sorts of shaking it up now, getting it mixed up, but here we go. Once again, we are racing Andy Vogt out front. Corey Walters trying to run him down in 2nd place right now. Scott Mann in 2nd place, but he has threats of falling. Here comes the 24, Jeff Stabnow, trying to run him down. There's going to be a good battle going on here tonight, as you already see the 29 of Mark Walls trying to make moves here early in the race. And he may do it here. We'll see. Can he get by his teammate, the 24 of Jeff Stabnow? He's putting the hurt on right now. He's trying to get by the 9 of Corey Walters. That is for 3rd position, and he will take it. All right, now he is being scored in 3rd. It's almost a little bit of contact there, maybe between the 29 and the 9. So a lot of racing action going on very quickly here in the start of this race, as it looks like the 9 of Corey Walters is going to get hung out to dry here on the outside. That is not what you want to do. You get on that outside, you're going to get hung out to dry very quickly here. There's just no grip up there right now. Everyone's running the low line, and it looks like the 24 of Jeff Stabnow is going to take a position from him. Here comes Chris White. Again, he does have a race win this season, and he's going to try to take that position from him, and it looks like he will do it. We'll keep an eye on that battle, but we're going to jump back here to some drivers that we expect to see moving their way up here. Brett Johnson, we've been seeing him do very well lately. Back right now, he is in 10th position in that number 7 machine. Another driver we're going to be keeping an eye on. Matt Henry, we saw him have a very good finish just the other day. He is currently back in 11th position, and you see him starting to single file out here, as nobody's really wanting to press any issues too early in this race. Carl Burke, one more spot back in 12th. Another driver you can't count at any given time, as just about any race you can expect to see him up front. Let's check back here. David Applegate, looks like he's got a different paint job on here tonight. He does run the MSTV truck from time to time, but here tonight he is running. Not sure what he's got on the side of that one. It looks like a YouTube of some sort, but we'll keep an eye on him throughout the night as they're starting to mix it up right in here. That's probably the biggest battle we have going on. We are going to keep an eye on that lead right now up at the front. 0.166 seconds separate first and second right now, but this is a good battle going on right here. This is for 10th position. The new guy here, James Dolzil, we have not seen him before, as he's actually going to pull it way to the infield there, nearly infield, but the inside lane, almost getting onto the apron, but he is going to try to hang on to 10th position. But he has Brad Cornell coming, and something happening to William Fletcher, as he is now, there he is, having some connection issues here right in 8th place, but he blinked out and was falling down. Let's move up to the front. We have a battle for the lead going on. Looks like Scott Mann's going to try to get by Andy Vogt here, and he had it right there for just a second. He was 0.066 seconds off of him. Had him on the inside lane, just couldn't quite get by him. So Scott Mann having a race win this season, trying to get by Andy Vogt for the lead, just couldn't quite complete it. That is unfortunate, but we'll see if he can do it again. These guys are really starting to shake it up here with 8 laps on these tires. They're starting to get a little wear and tear on them. Here comes Scott Mann once again. Are we going to have a new leader here at the line? Not happening yet, but this could get very interesting. He's still trying to duke it out, and here comes Mark Walls trying to get in the mix as well. Those top 3 are not giving anything up right now. Those guys are just extremely battling hard right now, as you're going to see now the 10 of Andy Vogt get to the inside, and we'll see how he can play it out here. Again, top 3 battling extremely hard. Here comes Scott Mann again to the inside of Andy Vogt. We'll see if he can make it stick this time and see if we have a new leader. It's not going to happen on the backstretch, as they're going to keep trying. Once again, they've got to get by and make it stick, but so far they have not been able to do so. But here comes the 29 of Mark Walls. He's going to try to make something stick on Scott Mann, but he too cannot do anything with the lead right now of Andy Vogt. He has led all 9 laps here, and these tires are starting to wear, but we may have a new leader here. We'll see. They're still drag racing to the line. Scott Mann's Andy Vogt, and it looks like this time it's going to be Scott Mann out front, and we got something going on in the back here. Take a look. Caution will come out, and it is going to be for William Fletcher, who is just getting pummeled out there right now. But let's go back and take a look. All right as we go to the first caution, that we do have KR here with us. So KR, welcome to the booth.
Hey guys, how's it going? I gotta tell you, there was a fight that broke out, not only in the bathroom stall, but at the pier line, and I had to referee both of them, so I apologize for being late, but here we are. And man, I gotta tell you, perfect time to join. Ooh, and the 29. Mark Wall's issues under yellow here.
That is not good. We're going up there to him real fast. William Fletcher bringing out the caution, and you said something with the 29. Take a look. Mark Walls. Yeah, he's got heavy damage to the front of that car now.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Mark Walls there. But he just hooked dead right. Nosed into the wall very hard, so extensive damage to that machine as we are under our first set of pit stops for the night.
And normally we would love to go back and watch their pit stops, so we're going to take a quick look here, see if we can figure out possibly what happened to Mark Walls, as at that point he was already wrecked. We'll go back a little bit again here, see if we can figure it out. Okay, here we are. We're here. Everything seems to be fine at this point. I'm not sure if somebody maybe checked up. No, it just, like you said, took a hard right into the wall. I don't think his own teammate hit him, but he has got heavy damage. Now he's gonna have to get in and get that fixed, which he will do. But Scott Mann still leading this race. He has led 9 laps, or 2 laps. Andy Vogt has led 2 laps here.
Yeah, on pit road, Dana Rogers just now leaving pit road, but Rogers had a bit of a rough time getting on the pit road, and in fact watched Dana spin it out and have to come through the grass.
We were talking in the pre-race show about how important pit road is going to be here. You know, they've got 10 to 15 laps on these tires before they're just like, give me some new tires. You know, I don't care how I have to get them. They want new tires. And, you know, that's a prime example. Missing your pit stall, going into the grass, or spinning them out on pit road. Anything like that can happen, and it's probably what happened to Dana Rogers.
Well, so what have I missed so far? It seems like it's been an eventful race.
Really, not a whole lot, to be honest. Literally right as we saw you get here and join us, that first caution came out. They were really starting to duke it out here in the front. Scott Mann, Andy Vogt, and what was Mark Walls. Those three were really starting to battle for the lead. At any given time, they were 2 and 3 wide at some points, but that'll be interesting now with Mark Walls back in 15th. We'll see if Jeff Stabnow can join the mix.
Yeah, so Jeff Stabnow starting second row inside. Here we go. Scott Mann getting on the throttle here, getting a good jump. Andy Vogt looks to lose a couple spots here right off the get-go.
Yeah, Andy Vogt is definitely going to lose a few, and these guys know with, again, only about 10 to 12, maybe 15 laps on these tires, they've got to get every position they can very quickly, and they're going to try to do it. We started seeing some real gutsy moves going on here early in the run, and it seemed like we even saw more, honestly, the longer we ran. You know, they might have got comfortable with the car being a little loose and decided they need to make a move here because they thought it was going to go green, which during the pre-race talking to these guys, they figured we'd have quite a few cautions. They didn't think it would go green for too many laps, or for too long of runs anyway.
Matt Henry in the 19 working underneath the 8 of Gary Nichols down the backstretch. Matt Henry with a little bit of front end damage, but he's going to tuck in here as they go into 3 and 4.
And you'll see that tuck, speaking of tucking in, is you have to go all the way back to David Applegate before you see any battling, and that's with Mark Walls. You've got some starting to brew a little further up here, but early in this, they probably 2 laps in, they're doing exactly what they're doing now. They started finding gaps and getting single file. They know these tires are just really junk here tonight. They don't last very long. I believe Jeff Stabnow was saying on like a 15-lap run, his wear was at 80%. So these tires are not holding, and they're losing anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds on a 25 or a 20 to 25 lap run on tires.
The track temp is 104, so it's a little greasy, a little slick, and that's going to really wear out your tires a little bit faster. But a good job at conserving your tires means you have to take it easy in the opening stages. And it looks like the 53 is going to work underneath Matt Henry here in the 19. Carl Burke working a pass here. Not able to get him clear down the front stretch as they go side by side all the way down the front stretch. They're both going to sail it off into one, and Henry's going to tag the wall there.
Yeah, he got quite a bit of damage from that, too. Just a small little scrape, but sparks were flying, and he got heavy damage to that car. One that we're going to keep an eye on here, we have not seen it before. That is all the way back in 18th place right now. That is James, hopefully we get this right, Dalziel. I believe that is how you pronounce that when he's back to 17th, 18th. So even throughout the field, these guys are really starting to battle. That is all the way back nearly in 20th, and they're still side by side as Gerald Heffley's really trying to figure out which lane he wants to take to get by one of these.
Yeah, Gerald Heffley in the 61, watching these two battle side by side here. And it looks like finally the 07 of Dana Rogers is going to get in the front here, but nope, just like that, the 2 machine of James is going to battle right back.
Yeah, and that's what's been the trend here. Even with these really, really bad tires here at Texas Motor Speedway, they're not letting it stop them. They're still battling as we look up to the front once more. Jeff Stabnell trying to run down Scott Mann. Again, Mann has led 10 laps. Vogt has led 9. But we may have a battle for the lead here as it looks like Stabnell is going to try to get by Scott Mann.
Stabnell working on Scott Mann, and Chris White working on Andy Vogt. Chris White has tried to jump out down the backstretch a couple of times, just unable to get a good enough run coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, it really is. It seems to be an ongoing thing here, as we just saw there too. It looks like from the angle we have that you have a really good run, and they may have a really good run on someone, but by the time they get to the backstretch, it's like that momentum they have stalls out, and whoever's on the higher side or high lane has the momentum coming out of the corner, and they're able to pull ahead, and whoever's behind them just has to kind of tuck in behind them once again. So it's a slow, methodical process here at Texas to try to get by somebody, but it looks like Jeff Stabnell is going to try it one more time. We'll see if he can get him at the line this time.
That outside wall coming on out of turn 2 here at Texas, it is hungry for cars. And I got to tell you, if you're on the inside line and you're trying to accelerate up out of the corner to make a pass, especially on older tires, as these guys are now on about 23 lap old tires, it is super hard to do. That car is just wanting to push out into the wall. So you put a little more wheel into it, and next thing you know, you snapped it loose, and around you're going to go.
Yeah, and we're sitting there watching these top 3 as, you know, Jeff may have worn out those tires just a little bit trying to get up to Scott Mann, and here comes Corey Walters. Now, he's trying to do the same thing that Jeff Stabnell was trying to do to Scott Mann, but he's unable to do it either. You know, we've had 12 laps on these tires. We're right dead center in the time where these guys want new tires here in about 3 laps. They would love to see a caution where they can get some fresh rubber. And to quote Jeff Stabnell, he actually said as the caution comes out, anytime there's a caution, they're going to take tires.
Matt Henry in the 19 has gone around here, and he is just now getting his car rolling.
Well, we shall go back and take a look to see what exactly happened to him. Question is, did he have any help, or did he just sail it around all by himself? With as worn out as these tires are and the damage he has on there, there's a good chance he spun it out. And actually, with the car going sideways before him, as he actually did have some help from the 18 there as well.
It looked to me like the 18 machine did not know, Brad Cornell did not know the 29 of Mark Walls was underneath him. Spooked him a little bit, put him up out of his line, and he just couldn't catch it by the time that he got into the 19 of Matt Henry.
Yeah, it was definitely not a a real hard hit. It was just a real subtle bump. You know, he just got out of his groove, and you know that unfortunate that was the product of it. But it was a very very innocent hit. It was nothing major, as everybody's going to come down pit road. Nobody's staying out. You know, we saw in other races in the past where somebody might try to chance it and stay out, but that's not happening tonight. Every single car came down pit road except for Gerald Heffley, who is 1 lap down, so he'll be coming in here in just a second. He's going to get his lap back. So every single car came down pit road and got fresh tires.
That they did, and Scott Mann having a great pit stop. First car on pit road, first car off. But possibly caught for speeding here, as a lot of cars are going on around him.
Well, that is definitely not what you want. You don't want to get caught speeding on pit road. Again, it's only ended the longest line, but you know, you're looking here, 18 cars on the lead lap. That means you're going to be starting 19th. Or 18th, depending, there's 18 actually on it, so Gerald Heffley will get his lap back here because he was the lucky dog. So there's going to be all cars, all 19 on the lead lap, so that means you will speed literally starting dead last here on the field, and that is going to make it very interesting to try to make your way back through the field, as now Jeff Stabnow will be your race leader.
Chris White starting on his outside, and I gotta tell you, awfully fishy that these two guys are on the front row, given the circumstances that Scott Mann just went through on pit road.
Yeah, it's we still got a long way to go, I guess, when you think about it. 27 laps, so we're just over a quarter of the way done. But in the grand scheme of things, we're really getting done pretty quick. We've only been live here for just under an hour, of course. 30 of that was practice and qualifying, so we've really only been live for about 25 or so minutes, and we're already 27 laps in, fixing to be 28 laps in. So this race is going to be over before we know it, even with the few cautions we have had here, as we're looking 2 cautions for 5 laps, 74 laps to go with 1 to go now. Going to be 72 laps to go when we take the green flag.
Lights have gone out on the pace car. A very, very sharp looking front row with Jeff Stabnow, Chris White. Those two guys have some stout, heavy hitters here in this Northwest Series.
They are indeed. Corey Walters, we'll take a look here as we'll pull up our driver bar real fast. Jeff Stabnow does not have a win in this series. Chris White does. Corey Walters, I believe, thought he did, but he does not in this series, I guess. And we'll take a look here real fast. I was thinking he had a win. He does not, though. Gary Nichols has a win. Scott Mann, Chris White, and Josh Cushman have had wins. So several drivers, but obviously he is not one of them. But Chris White, I think he's the man to watch here. My vote is for Jeff Stabnow for the win, but I really think Chris White and Corey Walters and Andy Vogt are going to be someone to look out for.
Okay, I have to trade you. I will trade you Chris White for Jeff Stabnow because he yells at me if I don't pick him, but here we go, green flag racing.
Well, you know, I don't know if I can give that up, but I think I'll do it. We'll let you have Jeff Stabnow tonight. I'm going to go with Chris White for the win. So we will trade picks there. So there we have it. My pick, repick here, Chris White. KR going with Jeff Stabnow. Both of them running first and second right now, as they're really starting to mix it up towards the back here.
That they are, man. I thought I saw a car come off of turn 2 dead sideways, but it looks like everyone gathered it up if they did. And we're still under green.
We are indeed, as they're coming through the triangle here. Lap 30 of 100 underway. And they're kind of almost like as if we're in the last 10 laps. Everybody's really starting to scatter around like little ants running all over the place. So this could get very interesting, as we once again have a battle for the lead. Chris White and Jeff Stabnow, 0.2 separate them. And it looks like Chris White is just going to slowly and methodically try to get to Jeff Stabnow and see if he can get the lead here. As you can look, they've got a 0.9 second lead over third place.
I'm watching Mark Walls. Really not sure what happened to him. If we get another caution, we'll have to pull him up into the booth and see if we can get a word in with him. But he is running ninth. He has got to recover from whatever it was that happened to him under the first caution. But right now he's got to deal with two cars, the 53 and the 18, fighting side by side in front of him.
Yeah, and neither one of them are, they're both very fast cars. So he's just going to have to pick a lane. It looks like he's going to pick the bottom lane and try to hook up with the 53 here a little bit. But that may not happen. He's just going to take to the high side with the 18. He never know. He can't decide where he wants to go. He may thread it through the middle here in a minute and just try to go in between them if they can't decide what they want to do. He knows he needs to book it. He needs to get to the front. The longer he stays back here with these guys, the bigger his chances are of getting involved in a wreck happen, because we've seen time and time again the wrecks happen in the back of the field.
Yeah, there's a good saying, a good philosophy that I grew up on, and it's you're in the back for a reason. And it's not always necessarily a bad thing, that being that reason, but it could be your car's not quite right. The setup, you don't handle it as well as you possibly could. You got some damage, or you're just a terrible driver. All of those are all factors that play into why you're at the back of the pack, and the further back you go, the more scary it gets.
It does indeed get scary back there. And while we were following the 29, and that's a
turn the 18.
We'll go check in with him, and that's again another reason you don't want to be.
Matt Henry caught up into this. Dana Rogers caught up.
Let's go back and take a look. As we were just talking about, that's why you don't want to be back there. And while we were watching this back here, Chris White did get by Jeff Stabnow to take the lead. As we're going to go back here and see what happened. We'll see. Maybe Mark Walls really need to get by these guys. We'll see if that maybe was the cause of some of this. What happened back here? I'm not sure. It looked like his car just broke loose again. Let's see if we can't get a different angle here and go back just a bit more. What happened to Mark Walls? We're going to go to a chopper angle here. Oh, he net-coated into the 18 is what happened. He came down off the wall just a little bit, and then the 7 getting into him. And the 19, like you said, getting involved in Matt Henry. So several cars getting involved in that.
Yeah, it looked like maybe even possibly Scott Mann tagging the spinning car in front of him. Checking in on Scott Mann here as he comes down pit road. See if I can get some eyes on if there's any damage or not. And sure enough, there was. He has used his quick repair.
A lot of damage going on, and it's getting to that point now where we're seeing people start to make those gutsy / questionable calls. They are starting to try to make some strategy. David Applegate is being scored as the leader. He stayed out with 10 laps on those tires. So we'll see if that plays off for him. I mean, that's some pretty old tires. So I'm not sure if that strategy is going to pay off for him. But again, he's the driver. I'm up here in the booth, so we'll just have to kind of wait and see how it plays out, or if it plays out in his favor.
I have a feeling this is not going to go his way. This is not a track where you want to stay out on older tires. It's hot, it's slick, and you're going to lose probably a second for about every 12 laps on those tires. So really, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But like you said, this is why we're up in the broadcast booth. He's out there. He might know something we don't.
He does. And to keep it in mind, the lights are still on the pace car. You know, he may just be trying to lead a lap. He has officially led one lap. So if he's just out there to get that bonus point, and if he pits in here on the next time by, I applaud him. That is a good strategy. You know, he's been towards midfield to the back. You know, he needs that shot to lead that lap to get that bonus point. So if he pits now, that is a very good strategy. We know exactly what he's doing. He's getting that bonus point. If he doesn't, he's out there. He's going to try to lead some laps. So we'll kind of have to see what happens here as they're coming out of turn 3 right now, or coming into turn 3, and he is pulling off the track. So he was out there just to lead that lap. So very good strategy for him to get that bonus point.
See, I told you he knew something we didn't know.
That's indeed very smart move by David Applegate. Come in now, get you some fresh tires. Keeping in mind, not only does he have a bonus point for leading the lap, he's also going to have 2 lap fresher tires than everybody else.
Yeah, but those laps have been under yellow, so not very abusive to him. But here at Texas, man, I'll take everything I can get.
Indeed, you know, like you said, not too bad on them if they are under caution. But hey, you know, in the long run, you know, I think they say 2 caution laps is equal to 1 fast normal lap. So technically, that's 1 lap that he has newer on his tires than the rest of this field.
So the leader, your pick of Chris White, my pick Jeff Stabnow starting on the outside with the lights out on the pace car here. Texas really tricky here in the A car. You gotta roll into the throttle pretty quick, but you can't mash it. So gonna be interesting to see if anyone is gonna spin the tires here and stack up this field big time.
Oh, I hate to break your spirits, but we're actually in the B car here tonight. So the A car.
That's what I said.
Well, either way, green flag is out once again, and we are racing. Chris White with a pretty good lead there. Here he's going to try to put that Toyota Simstar Motorsports car back in the victory lane once again. And Jeff Stabnow may be losing a spot here to Corey Walters. Again, Corey has won a race in this series. Or no, correction, he hadn't. That was he did one in the trucks, I do believe it was. So he's going to keep trying, as he will get by Jeff Stabnow for second place.
Corey Walters clearing Jeff Stabnow. And Stabnow, though, he's not quite done battling on this outside. He's going to want a piece of Corey Walters before this is over.
Yeah, and right now is the time to do it. He's got fresh tires as he gets into the outside wall all by himself, trying to stay off of everyone, and that damage is going to cost him some time as he's going to drop all the way back to 7th place now, and Brett Johnson's trying to get by him, but I don't think he's going to lose that spot. So Stabnow from 3rd all the way to 7th after contact with the outside wall.
I'll trade you back.
I don't think there's any trade backs at this point.
No, already done. I've traded you back.
That may do it. We'll see. He's still got a good amount of time, and he's got fast repair, so he's got plenty of time and stuff to get back up there. We'll see if he can make his way back up to the front. He's definitely got a fast car, but Chris White out front, 0.583 right now, so he has got a pretty sizable lead here to start lap 42.
Yeah, Chris White opening up a little bit of a gap here. Just a quick touch on Jeff Stabnow. We're only on lap 42 of 100, not even halfway yet. So he's got some time to recover, but he's not got a whole lot. And he's going to need a couple cautions, which I feel we might get at least a few more. So he's got every opportunity to recover. And if he does, I'll trade you back.
All right, well, I think we'll go with that. And he definitely wants to get that new leader, Camaro, back to the front. And it's honestly, I don't know if it's slowing him down too much, as he's trying to get by Gary Nichols right now. Again, Gary Nichols is one with a race win this season. But Jeff Stabnow's right there, and that damage not slowing him down a whole lot. He is a little wiggly when he gets down there on that apron, just a little bit on the white line. But he's still giving Gary Nichols a run for his money, as he has moved from 7th to 5th So even with that damage, he is still moving up through the field. So here, you know, in the next few laps, we may see him back in the top 3 again.
We just might, but I want to touch base real quick. Our pole sitter, Andy Vogt, has disconnected due to connection issues. So unfortunate for him right there.
And that is indeed Mark Walsh out of the race as well. Looks like William Fletcher is out of the race as well. So 3 drivers completely out of the race as we are closing in already on the halfway mark. 5 laps to go, and we'll be at the halfway mark. So this race, again, for 1.5 miles, it is going by very quickly.
That it is. Texas is a fast track. It will abuse the heck out of your tires, and you know, Chris White, he's saying, I don't care, I want to lead.
Yeah, and he is doing just that right now, as he has now led 12 laps here in the next 13, here in the next 3 laps, technically 4. He will lead the most laps. We'll see if he can clinch the most laps led. Again, you'd have to lead about 55 or so to lead the most laps here, and he is set on pace to do that right now, as Corey Walters and Brian Barnes just haven't been able to get up there to him. But speaking of the 4, Brian Barnes, you know, last time we saw him, he was not having the race that he is used to be having and what we're used to seeing. But now he is once again sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah, Brian Barnes in that 4 machine having a good run. This is a guy that we typically talk about having great finishes, and just, you know, got caught up in some incidents here in the last few races. Maybe not the finishes we're accustomed to seeing him, but here he is in 3rd, doing a great job so far tonight.
Yeah, definitely a very good run for him, as we'll just have to kind of wait and see how he does at the end of the race. But right now, sitting pretty in 3rd place. And Jeff Stabnow up to 4th. He did get by Gary Nichols, so he is working his way once again through the field. You know, he doesn't want to be the caution, but he would love to probably see a caution come out so he can get in there and get that damage fixed under caution instead of having to do it under green flag stops, as we are now 13 laps on these tires, so they are getting more and more worn by the second, as their fast lap 30.856. They're running 31.899, so they're almost running 32-second laps, so well off of their fast pace.
Yeah, like I said, every 10 laps or so is worth about a second, and we're seeing that here right now. Chris White coming around a 31.914 was that lap time, his best of a 30.894, and it only is going to go a little bit slower and a little bit slower and a little bit slower each and every lap.
Yeah, and these guys, you can really start to tell here who is really good at the long runs here. Again, you wouldn't think 14 laps being a long run, but the way these tires wear out, this is a long run here at Texas. And it's only getting longer at this point, as we'll see here. I'm not 100% sure. 0.433. We'll keep an eye on that timer there. I think Corey Walters may be reeling in. Chris White is now at 0.333. So Corey Walters is running down Chris White.
And he's gaining on him inch by inch. And this is a time where the tires are really have their fall off, and I completely lost where I was going. I saw something out of the corner of my eye, checked in on it, and lost my train of thought.
Well, you were talking about how the tires are going to be wearing off, and they are. If you look at the times, Chris White 32.267 and compared to a 32.1. So he is definitely closing in, as now we have him side by side, 0.066, and we may have a new leader at the line. We'll see if he can pull it off. Right now it's Corey Walters. Let's see, he may have actually led that lap. Let's pull up the driver bar real fast. He indeed did. Corey Walters did lead that lap. So he is going to drag race him still. This race is not over just yet, as they're drag racing it down the backstretch.
We're just over halfway, and we are watching a drag race, NHRA style, out of turn 2. But now they're coming out of turn 4, and again it's a drag race. But this time Chris White having the edge, as these guys are going to split the lap car. Corey Walters, not sure what to do there. Had to check up, but man, that got close.
That indeed, and that killed a lot of the momentum for Corey Walters, and that was the 07 of Dana Rogers. It looks like he's going to pull it off the track. Probably a smart move. You know, that car is pretty beat up and running 53-second lap, well off the pace. Probably that is the best thing, to pull it down to pit road and at least try to get some of that damage repaired. Is that could have spelled disaster for your leaders.
Yeah, I had to check back in on lap 52 for Dana Rogers. He got involved in an incident, and I'm trying to figure out what car this is. It looks like the 14 and the 85 of Trent Alley and Mike Peterson. Those guys crashed on the backstretch, but no caution came around, as everyone was below the white line by the time they were below caution speed, or whatever you want to call it.
That is very interesting, as it looks like we're checking back here with the 14 of Mike Peterson and obviously the 85 of Trent Alley. Trent Alley is on pit road, but Mike Peterson did not get the worst end of it, so he is back out on the track. David Applegate, you know, he led his lap. He's got damage to the right front, I believe that is. And we'll check in there. Yeah, the right front suspension of that car has a lot of damage, as he is currently sitting back in 13th, 1 lap down.
Andy Vogt has reconnected. He's gotten back out there. He is 9 laps down, but he's back out there. He's going to keep trucking.
He is indeed. He's a fighter. He's going to come back. You know, he wants to get every point he can. This is a championship battle. Again, they're got playoffs coming up here in just a few weeks. So, you know, once we get to playoffs, every point counts. You want to try to get a win and get as many as you can to get those points built up, because they will reset in the playoffs. That is exactly why Chris White is trying to stay out front and get the win here tonight. Corey Walters once again reeling him in, 0.333 seconds behind, now 3:16. So he got by the lap car. He lost a lot of momentum, but he's reeling him in again.
Yeah, he's starting to reel him back in. Brian Barnes sitting in 3rd place, unable to keep pace, but he's still right there. So if these two decide to tussle, Brian Barnes going to be sitting there and watching it, and going to try not to be caught up in their mess.
Yeah, it does take 2 to tango, they say. So these guys get together and cause a mistake, and they take each other out. All he's got to do is just sit back right at the right distance, about where he's at now, and just say, all right, you two go race each other, wear them tires off, I'll come by and pass you. Or, you know, where's the worst case scenario for them two? Best case scenario for the 4, they get together. Even if they don't wreck, they cause a little bit of damage to each other, and those cars are not as good handling as they were before, and then he passes them both that way. So either way, you could see him get by these guys if something happens.
Yeah, Corey Walters working that inside lane, and while these two are fighting side by side, that is allowing Brian Barnes to catch up to him a little bit here, and Corey Walters still not giving up on this inside.
No, he's not, and it just makes you wonder how he's even able to battle side by side. 25 laps on those tires. Again, we were talking to him, and then here in the pre-race, 10 to 15 laps is what they got on tires before they were just total garbage. As you see them running 32.9s, their qualifying and fastest laps were 30.9s. They're 2 seconds off the pace right now. So somebody goes in for tires, everybody's going to come in shortly after. You just can't stay out. You're going to lose too much ground.
Yeah, everyone's going to ride this out until we get a caution, or they're almost out of fuel. Might see some short pitting, though. And the first person to pit road, if it's under green flag, That one's going to make up a lot of time. And here comes Brian Barnes.
And we'll check in with him here. We can get to him. He is indeed going to be the first one down pit road. Oh, Brian Barnes. He has led 0 laps, but he's going to come down pit road. And just like Hollywood, he's going to start a trend here. And you will start to see everybody start coming in as he almost slid through his pit stop there. And he's going to take right sides. We'll see if he takes left as well, as he's going to get fuel, of course. And he will take both right and left. And this should be their last stop for the night if we go green from here on out.
And Chris White coming around to put Brian Barnes a lap down. So now Brian really needs this to cycle through.
He does indeed. And, you know, 20 laps in, they can only do 32 to 37 laps on fuel. So, you know, that was a very short pit stop. And I would be willing to bet if I was Brian Barnes out there 1 lap down now, he's counting on, you know, a caution coming out. He'll be the lucky dog, get his lap back, and going green the rest of the way. If it does, then he is easily going to get back on the lead lap, and he's going to try to stay out front.
Yeah, Brian Barnes here taking the short pit, a little bit of a different strategy, but we're going to see him really close in on these cars that are on the older tires, and he might even be able to unlap himself before they go to pit road.
He very well could, as we'll see right here. He is coming out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. What his time's going to be, I bet it's going to be around a 30.8, probably 8, as we'll check in, and it is going to be actually a 31.1, still well over a second faster than your leader, Chris White.
So Brian Barnes got his work cut out for him here, but not in panic mode just yet. Chris White still holding on to the lead. Corey Walters has lost a little bit of ground to him. And I got to tell you, Scott Mann, who suffered a penalty on our first pit stop, recovering nicely, sitting in 4th place.
Yes, he is indeed. Jeff Stabnow right behind him in 5th after contact with the wall. He's still got that damage out there. Again, we haven't had a caution. He's not going to come in and get that repaired just for, you know, for giggles. He's not just going to come in and say, I want to get it fixed, but it looks like he is actually going to come into pit road. So he's going to be our second driver to come down pit road. And we'll see and make sure nothing happens if he's going to take 2 tires, 4 tires. What is he going to do here? I'd imagine 4 tires and fuel all the way around. Get some 4 Mr. Feelgoods on that 24 new liter Chevrolet.
And don't forget the Walls Beard Co. across the windshield. Probably going to get a tear off on that windshield, but I hope that guy with a hammer works quickly, because Jeff Stabnow is going to use a fast repair. He hired the right guys to do it, I'll tell you.
He did indeed, as he is on pit road, and he is going to take 4 fresh tires, as we have more guys coming down pit road here. It looks like Scott Mann is going to come down pit road, as well as Brett Johnson coming down pit road too. So several drivers. Frank Harris going to be coming down pit road. So everybody's starting to come down pit road, except for your race leader, Chris White. He is staying out, along with Corey Walters, Gary Nichols, Carl Burke. All these guys not going in, but it looks like Chris White is actually going to go into pit road now.
Yep, Chris White coming down pit road. That's going to give the lead to Gary Nichols. Gary Nichols going to try and run this out, hopefully catch a bunch of people a lap down. But Brian Barnes, the first one onto pit road, this is going to be one to keep an eye on. He was the first one to hit pit road, and here he is. Caution hasn't come out. Everything is cycling through. So we'll see if he is going to be able to leapfrog Chris White and Corey Walters.
And there he is, people going in up to 4th place. He's on the lead lap now. He did get his lap back. He is in 4th position. And looking at the people ahead of him here, nobody ahead of him has actually pitted. So Gary Nichols is on pit road right now. So is James Dalziel. But though again, those guys are on pit road now, so he will pass them here as they are still having service done. So there he is, Brian Barnes up to second. Gerald Heffley, the only driver that has not pitted, and he is going in now. So he will relinquish the lead to Brian Barnes here when he gets to the start-finish line.
Yeah, Corey Walters has come out of pit road ahead of Chris White. Great job on pit road for Corey Walters. Very aggressive getting into his pit stall, nailed it, and had a great pit exit. And Chris White just got edged out by Corey Walters.
He did indeed. But there is your new leader, the number 4, Brian Barnes. Again, he's got 9 laps on his tires compared to 2 for everybody else. Jeff Stabnow 4 as he pitted a little bit after him. So the real question is, can those tires hang on? We've seen, about 28 laps on tires. Even we're up to 33. They're slow, but, they still are raceable. As here, we are on lap 73 of 100. This race is getting near its finish.
Laps are winding down. We're getting into the final stages of it here. Brian Barnes out front. He started 17th, sitting pretty as your race leader. So this guy, he doesn't like to qualify, but he does like to make his way through the field. And he's passed pretty much everyone that he can for right now.
Yeah, and you can't fault him for that at all. He does a great job of working his way through the field. As right now we have 11 of the 17 drivers on a track on the lead lap. Mike Peterson 1 lap down. Gerald Heffley 1 lap down. David Lappingate 2. Andy Vogt is 9 laps down. Then you go to Trent is Alley at 12. And Brad Cornell 14. But, he's going to start picking people off now as he's got the 8 car of Gary Nichols right in his sights. He is on the lead lap at the moment, but if he doesn't pick up the pace here, Gary Nichols is potentially going to go a lap down from Brian Barnes, who is right behind him on the backstretch. Keeping in mind, Gary Nichols has a race win this season.
Not only that, but Gary Nichols has a little bit fresher tires, but he may not have quite the grasp on this car setup that Brian Barnes does, and those fresher tires may not get him out of trouble here from going a lap down.
That is true. It's very unfortunate, but he definitely might go a lap down. As we'll take a look here. Take a look here to Nichols to Barnes. Again, we'll have to tweak that in the overlays, not showing up there. But you see the gap right now to Barnes to Nichols. Again, that is a battle, or not a battle, but a gap between 1st and 10th. 30.28 seconds. That basically is a lap. Now, he's not technically a lap down, but 30.2 seconds behind. So, essentially, that is a lap here at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, those are some pretty quick lap times. I mean, they just covered 1.5 miles in about 31 to 32 seconds.
Yes, that is really fast. I would not want to try to run that. That definitely would kill me probably. But Brian Barnes doing a very good job of it here in his virtual Ford Mustang. Corey Walters is a little bit behind him. He's a gap of 5 seconds, but he actually just dropped it to under 5. So the question is, can Corey Walters run down Brian Barnes here with 22 laps left in the race?
He's closed the gap from about 7 seconds to 4 seconds. So closed up 3 seconds on Brian Barnes so far, and it doesn't look to be slowing down anytime soon.
It does not indeed. Looking at their times, 31.677 for Corey Walters, 32.228 or 288 for Brian Barnes. So 16 laps versus 9 laps. They do have fresh tires. The question is, really not even a question, it's a statement. If they want to have tires left when they get up to them, they have to get up there now. They have to close that gap is it went from 4.9 seconds to 3.9 seconds now. So they are closing in a hurry. Him and Chris White both. So we'll see if either one of them can get up there and get the lead. But even if they catch him here in 10 laps to go, they still have 7 lap fresher tires than Brian Barnes.
Yeah, Brian Barnes kind of stretching it on fuel a little bit, but that might be why they're catching him at over just around a second a lap. Might be just trying to make the fuel last, might be trying to make the tires last so that he makes sure he has a little bit of extra at the end of this thing.
He will indeed, as we are now 20 to go here in the race. Again, 20 to go is all that remains out of the 100 laps. So this race winding down so quickly here tonight. Probably one of the earliest races we've had here. Is it's just 5 minutes till midnight, so a fairly early race. Usually we're here wrapping it up about 12:30 or so. So these guys have run really good for a track that we saw them spinning out a lot in practice, and the tire wear, as bad as it was, drivers complaining about it. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, they've done very good with only 3 cautions here for 19 laps.
Yeah, this race is moving right along, getting done in a hurry. I like it because I want to get into my bed. But I tell you what, we got to get a victory circle celebration in first, and that's always a good time, so no one go anywhere. This is going to be a great finish here as Brian Barnes is trying to manage this gap, but Corey Walters is just really closing in on him.
He is indeed. 18 to go, 1.833 seconds, now 1.733 seconds. I honestly don't think that's 1.666. I don't think he's going to be able to hold him off. With 17 to go, he's gaining about a tenth a lap, if not more. He's going to catch him. The question is just how soon. As you can see him, Corey Walters can see the leader. They're on the backstretch together. So is Chris White. So those top 3 are on the same corner, on the same backstretch right now. He is closing him in 1.1 seconds now. You know, there's no question he's gonna pass, or he's gonna catch him. If he can pass him is another thing, but you see them both right there. I don't think Corey Walters is gonna take no for an answer here tonight.
No, he's closing in on him, and I'm reviewing Brian Barnes' lap time. See if maybe he just tried to settle in and log some laps, but it looks like he is consistently, lap after lap, getting a little bit slower. So this Brian Barnes trying to drive the wheels off of this thing, in my opinion, and just going to succumb to a little bit fresher tires here with Corey Walters.
Yeah, and the best thing he could see is those lap cars, that he could get by those lap cars, and then everybody else have to try to get through them too. But right now, the lap car of the 23 David Applegate running 32.4s, so the lap car is actually running faster lap times than he is, 2 laps down. So he's having to fight with David Applegate now. So he's not being able to just get by him and add that cushion. And it's not a matter of David Applegate, you know, trying to hold up the leader. He's legitimately faster than the leader right now. So he really has no choice. If he's faster, he's not just going to sit by and let him by, which he did finally get by him.
That David Applegate kind of mixing it up here with the leaders. This is always a little bit of a scary time for the leaders, but David Applegate looks like he's going to let these guys go on by.
He is indeed. He's going to take it to the high side and let him by. And here comes Corey Walters here with 13 laps to go at the line. Can he run him down? He has 13 laps to do it. He's managed to kill a deficit of 7 seconds, over 7 seconds, to 0.199 now. So this is going to be a very interesting finish if them two drag race it out to the end.
Yeah, and it looks like here Corey Walters down underneath, coming out of turn 4. Brian Barnes holding that high side, and Walters just not able to get him here, but Walters is ready to pounce on him and make his moves here.
He is indeed, as we're watching Corey Walters side by side with the leader. We'll take a look. We'll put up our leader bar here. It is Brian Barnes for the lead right now. The question is, how long can he hold on to it? As right now, he's actually doing a fairly good job, as now Corey Walters is being scored as the leader, and they're going to drag race to the line. And it looks like at the line, it's going to be Brian Barnes one more time. So once again, the outside line is able to prevail, even with much older tires. 7 more laps on those tires. Brian Barnes pulling off the lead at the line.
Yeah, Brian Barnes hanging tough on this outside, and he may have been just waiting as long as possible before he really started getting after it. Corey Walters Walters looked like he got a little bit sideways coming off of turn 4 there.
Yeah, these guys are not giving anything up. Brian Barnes still being up there, scored as the leader. Is, you know, they're either going to wreck it or they're going to go to victory lane. And I wouldn't fault either one of them for doing it, as Corey Walters is going to be scored as the leader. But that high line has been so good, but I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off this time on the outside, as Corey Walters has a significant lead, and he's not going to be able to. So Corey Walters will officially clear second place now. Brian Barnes to maintain the lead. He's not going to have to drag race for it, at least not for the next lap or two.
Yeah, Louis are within 10 to go here, and Brian Barnes might even lose another spot to Chris White, and that's a huge difference in tires alone. You're looking at 7-lap different tires.
Definitely very old, as now he's got his hands full, and that's the thing. Chris White just kind of sat back there and let them battle it out now. So now he's got, you know, some pretty old tires himself, but he wasn't pushing it like these guys were side by side. Now he's going to try to get up there. I think he'll probably get by Brian Barnes, but I'm not sure if he's going to have anything for Corey Walters. Walters has been so fast here, and he has just has a dominating car here. He hasn't led the most laps here. Barnes and Mann have led the most, but once he gets to the lead, he's dominant.
Yeah, Corey Walters has opened up a bit of a gap on Brian Barnes. Want to check in real quick with Jeff Stabnow in this final stages. That was your pick, who I have abandoned, and if anyone tells him I abandoned him, I will stab you. Jeff Stabnow here. He's running 7th place and looks like he's struggling here.
Yeah, he's got way out of shape there. He will maintain 7th place, though. That car is way out of shape. And right about now, we are in the danger zone here. 6 laps to go. If a caution was to come out, it would have to come out literally this split second, or we would not go racing once again. Again, anything below 5 laps, we don't go racing again. So hopefully it does not come out now, but these guys, you know, this is the second almost 30 lap run that we've had. It'll be over 30 if they continue at the pace they're going.
Chris White has just managed to pass Brian Barnes here in these final stages, sitting in 4th place. Scott Mann, though, about 5, almost 6 seconds behind Brian Barnes.
He's got a good car too. And we'll keep an eye. 1.1 seconds separate Chris White and Walters. Now 1.083. So can Chris White run down Corey Walters for the lead? As now it's 1.2. I don't know. It looks like there's certain parts of this race where Chris White is faster, and then at other times Corey Walters is faster. So I don't think they're kind of going to even each other out. I don't think we're going to see a big change up in the top 3 right now. But like you said, Scott Mann back in the 4th position, recovering. He's started 3rd, so he has fallen back 1 from where he started. But still, overall, a very good run for him.
Yeah, had that speeding penalty. Nice recovery all the way back up into 4th after that speeding penalty. But you got to wonder what could have been if not for that.
Yeah, it very well could have been a different story here. as he is definitely so fast. He does have a race in this season, but speeding penalties will kill you every time, as they did kill him here tonight. But Corey Walters out front, 28 laps on the tires, 3 laps to go. Going to be 2 at the line here. Again, 2 laps to go right there at the line.
Walters has a bit of a gap to Chris White. Chris White, bit of a gap to Brian Barnes. Again, Barnes started deep in the field. He didn't take the qualifying time, but he's all the way up into third. So this is a good race for him. But Corey Walters, this guy, he's about ready to bring it home. He's looking at that white flag right now.
He is indeed, as he is just a few feet away from it. And right there will be 1 lap to go. Again, presented by nobody because we don't have a sponsor for it yet. So 1 lap to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. Corey Walters out front, and it looks like he's going to hang on to it. Chris White has closed in, 0.733, but I don't think it's going to be enough here tonight, as Corey Walters is going to possibly bring home the win for his first win here in the Xfinity Series.
Yep, Corey Walters, clear sky, clear track. There it is, checkered flag in the air. It's over, folks. Fat Lady has sung, and she has sung Corey Walters' name.
He has indeed. He's going to bring home the win, and I'm sure he will be celebrating, doing some donuts with what tires he has left on the car. 30 laps on it. A very good run for everyone here. 2 very long green flag runs, about 28 laps, and about 30 laps on these. So again, that was under green there, so we actually had a green flag pit stops there. So nobody wondered if we were going to see any green flag pit stops, but we did, and Corey Walters was able to bring it home. So give us just a moment. We're going to be right back with your post-race shows. We're going to watch Corey Walters do some burnouts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here with your post-race show, coming in a very close second place here. Again, that was Chris White in the number 35 machine, and it looks like we do have KR catching up with him. So, KR, we will hand it over to you.
Chris White, once again, a great finish. Man, you're going to be tough to beat here in these points if you keep racking up all these excellent finishes here in the Xfinity car. Tell us a little bit about your race and what you think your chances are on the points this year.
Yeah, as far as point standings go, I think we're looking pretty good going into the playoffs coming up here soon. As far as this race, man, it was tough. It was tough to hang on. After the long run, tires fell off drastically. Very slick out there. Tough to hold on. I think when I had the lead and had the clean air, I was a little bit better. And unfortunately, the 9 beat me off pit road, and I think that was the end of it.
Now, we saw that the 9 beat you off pit road. It looked like he really went for it, really aggressive. Did you think that maybe you were not aggressive enough on that final pit stop, or was it exactly how you wanted it to be?
Well, I'm not sure what could have been any better. We came in, stopped in the box, got 4 tires, full tank of gas, and peeled off just about the same time he was peeling off, and he was ahead of me. So we kind of came out neck and neck, but he fortunately got out ahead of me.
Well, man, a great race. You wind up here second place. Like we say, week in, week out, one of the front runners. So looking forward here, how does this play into your big picture points racing?
Well, as I told Charles at the pre-race, one word: consistency. It's all about being consistent. Just trying to stay up front, stay out of trouble, maintain that points lead, and just keep myself in contention.
All right, well, man, congratulations on second place. Sponsors, people you would like to thank?
Certainly, just got to keep the guys that put this series on for us out there. We got Highway, new leader, Waltz Beer Co., myself with SimStar Motorsports. It's a great series, a lot of fun. Look forward to the off week, get some rest, recoup, and get back at it in a couple weeks.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on second place. But meanwhile, I think Charles has caught up to our race winner.
I have indeed caught up, and it wasn't easy because he was running away from everybody else, including myself. That is the number 9 of Corey Walters. But first off, Corey, a very good finish here for you. It seems like you didn't lead a whole lot of laps, but when you got out front, you were pulling away. Although those last closing laps, we saw Chris White close a gap of 1.1 to about 0.611 seconds. So running in the back of your mind, you knew you had a fast car. If we'd had 10 more laps in this race, you think this could have ended differently? It could have been more of a side-by-side battle for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew he was catching me. I mean, I knew we both had probably about the same tire wear, but he was definitely gaining on me. So, yeah.
Well, lucky for you, it wasn't 10 laps longer. This was the 100 and not the 110. And you did a fantastic job of holding off the field here in the last closing laps. Let us get your opinion of it. You had 30 laps on these tires. The run before, everyone started coming in with 28 to 30. So I believe we went caution-free for most of the second half of this race. What was it like on those 30-lap tires? I know after about 10 to 12, 15 or so, everybody was wanting fresh tires.
Oh, yeah. Coming out of 2, you have to hang on to that thing because it just wants to snap on you. And then, you know, towards the end of that run, even coming out of 4 was a little bit hairy, but we got her done. We were able to hang on to it.
Well, indeed, you did get it done here tonight, picking up a win here in the series. First win. I kept thinking you already had one, but I believe that's in the trucks, possibly, that you have a win. So picking up your first win in the Xfinity Series. As always, any sponsors or anyone you just want to give a shout-out to for getting you here to Victory Lane tonight?
I want to shout out to all these guys for putting this show on. They do a heck of a job. You know, want to thank Waltz Beer Co. And I'm sorry, but I forgot the other sponsors. I don't run with these guys a lot, so I just don't remember.
Well, anyway, we'll go over him in a minute, so that's not too bad. We'll make sure we get him in there. He definitely, big shout out to all the sponsors. But again, congrats on the win here tonight. We're not quite done just yet. We still have to go through your unofficial race results, barring any race control issues, and of course all the sponsors and shoutouts and stuff like that. So, KR, if you want, can you run through our our top 10 in the results, and I will finish us off for the night.
I'll tell you what, Corey Walters got it done here at Texas, winning the race in spectacular fashion, chasing down Brian Barnes to do it. So he's going to get that kiss from the trophy girl. Well, we won't assume gender here ever again. Chris White second, Brian Barnes third, Scott Mann fourth. Rounding out your top 5 will be Brett Johnson in that 7 machine. Carl Burke in the 53 got caught up in a little bit of issues, but he still manages 6th place. Jeff Stabnow, your pick, finishing 7th. Frank Harris was 8th. 9th place, Gary Nichols, and Matt Henry, another driver who had many issues, manages to finish on the lead lap in 10th place.
And finishing in 11th, the first car lap down was Gerald Heffley, who I do believe did lead a lap here tonight. 12th place, James Dalziel. Again, hopefully that is a correct pronunciation on that. 13th, David Applegate. 14th, Mike Peterson. Rounding out your top 15 here tonight is Andy Vogt. 16th will go to Trent Alley. 17th, Brad Cornell. 18th, Dana Rogers. 19th, Mark Walls, who had some issues earlier on in the race. And rounding out your 20th spot is William Fletcher. And then after that, Scott Hutchinson and Mona Lisa did not start the race. So a few drivers that didn't start. But overall, we had a field of 20 drivers here tonight. A very good race. Very few cautions. I believe only 3 last half of the race went caution-free. But as always, I want to thank all the sponsors on board here with MaxSpeedTV, Sim Speed Shop, HomeNet Hosting and PC Repair, Elite 7 Racing, and of course Ohio IndyCar League. If you are looking to get some exposure for your business, hit us up on our MaxSpeedTV Facebook page at Facebook. Just MaxSpeedTV, or on MaxSpeedTV.com. Shoot us a message, and we'd love to get in contact with you about sponsoring us here on MaxSpeedTV. And on the racing side of things, Highway Equipment Company has 2 divisions. One of those, of course, is Highway and a new leader, so definitely give a big shout out to them. And as well as, same as MaxSpeedTV, if you're looking to get some exposure from this your company, hit this league up as well. They're always looking to partner with great partners for each race, so make sure you check them out. And as always, KR, any final words here before we sign off for the night?
Man, I gotta tell you, Corey Walters doing a great job. Planned his pit stop perfectly. I really thought Brian Barnes, being the first one on pit road, was the one to win this one, but it just wasn't meant to be for him.
Now, he came very close. Corey Walters did bring it home, so he will be the race winner here. Several different race winners. We are going to sign off for the night. So, as always, on behalf of the Northwest Xfinity Series of MaxSpeedTV, we will see you at the next race.